Tank, I need your help. What is it? There's too many weak-ass bitches out in the world who need to get stronger, bigger, and better. Son of a bitch. There's only one way we can help them. That's if they visit tankstrengthcoaching.com and sign up for coaching today.
Welcome back, my YouTube family. Now you know that not only do we go through my workouts in these videos, but you also listen to get the valuable information I give you to get bigger and stronger. And I greatly appreciate it. If you guys ever have any questions, please comment down below. But there's one thing I can't do. And I can't give you guys all the information just in these videos. I need to be working with you one-on-one. So if you're interested in taking it to the next level, please visit my website, tankstrengthcoaching.com, and just send me an email. Let's talk. Let's see how we can get you better today. I've squatted over 750 pounds. I've benched over 500 pounds numerous times. And I've deadlifted over 750 pounds. Now, into the video. Today we got a strongman log press and axle press into our street lifting competitions. Street lifting competitions are coming up August 10th, 2024. Nationals, heaviest chin up and heaviest dip. But first things first, we're going to train for the major competition this year so far, which is my strongman competition September 20th, 2024. I'll need to be able to axle press 335 and log press 315. Both numbers I am working very hard to get right now. Today we're going to take you through kind of my axle and log training. We got 300 on the axle and 295 on the log. The first axle clean and press went very well. Very explosive at the top. The funny thing about the pressing movement, especially with a push press, if you can get the pattern down right, you can move heavy weight very fast. If I can accelerate through my legs into my arms in a perfect movement pattern where the log is not, or the axle or the log is not too far out in front of me or behind me, I can get it directly into the position, moves very well. If it's a little far out in front of me, I'll have to grind a little bit. If it's too far back behind me, I'll probably have to drop it behind me. Going into the log is definitely my most difficult movement. And as you can see there, I kind of lost that balance. And I just need to kind of push it back a little bit more as I press through. We're going on to back to the axle, 300 pounds again, boom. Axle, I don't mind. I like the axle clean and press. The log, I like the log. It's just frustrating because it's so awkward and cumbersome for me. As you can see there, the press out was not as good as my first rep. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling fatigued. There's something different about strongman cardio than any other cardio. Running on a treadmill, doing steps, doing a boxing class, doing swimming, anything like that. Your cardio, just like your strength, can get very specific. You should have general cardio that's just very good. But in order to have cardio with heavy weight, hundreds of pounds on your chest, balancing a weird log, or picking up sandbags and running with them, it's completely different cardio. All right. After the log press and axle press, we move on to the chin-ups. So we're doing 3 sets of 3, 140, 160, and 180. This is my 3rd week of training in the block, okay? So my first week's usually around an RP of 7, second week around an RP of 8. The 3rd week, we really push ourselves. We're building. Week to week, we're building on what we're doing. Too often do I see athletes, they go ham in the first week, and then they may be able to match it for the second week. And the 3rd week, they're so fatigued from all the heavy weight they've been lifting, it starts to diminish down. And then they get overtrained, under-recovered, and they're not able to continue to see the progress that they want to make. It's not what we want to do. We want to build week from week to week, and once we hit that high intensity RP9, RP10, the next week we deload, and then we enter a new block. All right. So 140. pretty good. Felt strong, felt powerful there. Making sure my legs are as straight as I can get them. I still have that kind of weird tendency to kick a little bit. We'll see what the judges say. In the rules it says no kicking that helps with the movement. I really don't think that's helping with the movement at all. It's not like I'm swinging my body at all. But we'll see. 160 from the side angle view here. Nice and powerful, nice and strong. Then we move on to 180. That third rep definitely looking a little suspicious, but again, not too upset because this is the third week right before my deload. Couple things about the chin-ups. As you guys know, I'm preparing for a strict curl competition. Stay tuned to watch that video. It's coming up this weekend is when I compete, and I'll release the video, probably a week-ish after that. So, for that strict curl competition, obviously I've been training my biceps with just that curl. My other bicep movement I've been doing is actually the chin-up. Now, if I wanted to maximize and only train strict curls, I would do a lot more bicep exercises. But I get a large stimulus from these chin-ups. I noticed my strict curl game went up. The amount of weight I've been able to curl has gone up once I started training my chin-ups more seriously, okay? And a couple reasons for that. One, this position, obviously, it's stretching the bicep at the top, and your bicep is most definitely involved in the supinated pull down or pull up position, okay? Is it the best exercise for direct bicep growth? No. But if you want to train your biceps in a compound movement, this is a great way to do so. And that's kind of what I think some of these channels get away from. They talk about like, oh, well, the chin-up is not a great bicep exercise. The chin-up is, it's not a great bicep exercise. Listen, if you want to bias your arms, right? If your goal is to grow bigger arms and you want to bias those arms, perform movements that bias those arms, even when you're training back. If I'm focusing on growing my lats, and I have an option between a pull-up and a chin-up, right? For that workout, I'm focusing on growing my lats, but overall, I want bigger arms. Take the chin-up approach. You're going to get some bicep emphasis. You're going to get some bicep tension. And by the way, dude, I feel it in my biceps. Do them. Do a ton of chin-ups. You're going to feel it in your bicep. It's not like that's nothing. It's not like that's nothing. Also, again, living proof here, increase chin-up strength, increase bicep strength, increase growth. All right? Now, if you're just like, oh, I want the biggest biceps in the world and all I'm going to do is chin-ups, that's probably not what you want to do. You want to incorporate curls. You want to incorporate a stretch position curl. You want to incorporate all these other things to help really target that bicep growth. But to put a little more emphasis by doing a chin-up, it's going to be a great way of doing so. Same thing with the tricep and the dip. Now, for the dips, we did 2 sets of 209. I got 1 set of 7. I believe this is a set of 8. This is my second set. I was able to kind of be a little bit more stable throughout the movement and therefore get more reps. Not too stable, obviously. You can see I'm swinging back and forth there with the plate in the beginning. But once I get it a little more under controlled, relax, stabilize, move a bit better. And again, is the dip the best tricep movement? Is the dip the best chest movement in the world? Maybe not. But it's definitely putting a large emphasis on your triceps during that lockout portion. Definitely putting a large emphasis on your chest during that down portion. So if you like doing dips and you want to grow your chest and grow your triceps, then absolutely perform the dips, all right? Look at that. I'm not a bodybuilder, but look at those damn triceps. Zoom in on that. Zoom in on those triceps there, okay? That's from heavy push downs, heavy dips, heavy overhead presses, heavy overhead tricep extensions, and heavy bench pressing, all right? Turns out getting strong also gets you jacked. And unless you want to compete in bodybuilding, I don't see why there isn't a reason to get strong also. Now we got a Z press here. The Z press, yes, is a shoulder movement. Yes, it's an overhead pressing movement. It's also definitely challenges the core. We're taking the legs out of it. We're putting the legs straight out in front and trying to press from that position. The difficult portion of this is obviously the balance and control, where my legs, I feel like if my legs were a little longer, I would be able to press a little bit more weight, because you can't lean back. If you lean back, you're not going to make it, right? It's a very good way of performing the overhead press and really focusing on my ability to control my core, my midsection, core meaning trunk here in this situation, and to also train the shoulders. Right? This is more of a functional movement. This is definitely something I would implement if your sole goal is to focus on training the overhead press. If your goal is to train the overhead press and I want to focus on bodybuilding, I might not use this movement as much, right? That's another thing too, is that sometimes I see athletes, they're like, oh, this looks like a cool movement. Where does it tie into the program? You need to think about these things. How does this tie into the program? What's the primary goal of the movement, secondary goal of the movement, tertiary goal of the movement, right? Sometimes we only need that primary goal. Hey, I do chest flies because I want a bigger chest. Perfect, awesome. But sometimes, hey, listen, oh, my athlete has some shoulder issues and he really needs to be working on his ability to protract the scapula. That's when protraction would be this, right? Working on your serratus anterior, working on some of the rotator cuff muscles, okay? So if that's the case, maybe I want to do a movement that I'm not loaded back like a bench press, and I can have the free range of motion of my scapula during the movement, like a weighted push-up, right? So if someone is having a hard time controlling the serratus anterior, controlling their scapula, and wants to grow a big chest and wants a big bench, yeah, I'm going to throw a big bench in the beginning, but maybe the secondary movement is going to be a push-up. So this way this athlete can work on some of those smaller muscles. Or that athlete will do a dip. Dip accomplishes the same thing, working on the T3, serratus anterior, and scapular control. That's good coaching there. That's good programming. This is next level stuff. And if you program correctly, you don't have to do a ton of weird warm-up sets. Not to go a huge rant here, but I see coaches do this all the time. They get an athlete who might have a couple irritations or injuries, let's say some shoulder issue, and then the first couple months, which is a good thing, they do a ton of rehab movements in the beginning. External band shoulder raises, maybe like Superman supine, like snow angels. They do all this different stuff, and the shoulder starts feeling better. Great, awesome. But that stimulus that you're using with these small movements, they're only so effective for a certain amount of time, right? At some point, doing snow angels, even with 3 pounds in your hands, that load is so light of intensity. Is it really going to transfer over into your ability to stabilize on the bench press with 400 pounds in your hands? It might. It might in the beginning. It might help you in the beginning. But over time, we need to be able to transfer that to, okay, now I'm going to work on my ability to stabilize my scapula and shoulder press behind the neck with a behind the neck overhead press, right? This way, I'm taking that exercise and you're progressing that exercise more, right? I'm doing behind the neck shoulder presses and strict chin-ups or strict pull-ups, right? That, again, is proper programming, and the ability to see that is so huge in your ability to progress towards your goals, okay? We don't need to always spend 30 minutes warming up with these little movements to just fatigue ourselves, so then when we go into the bench press, our shoulders not hurting because of the bench press. It's because it's so fatigued from all these little movements we were doing, right? And then if those movements start actually helping you because you programmed them correctly and your bench press is feeling good, it might not be the wisest idea and use of time to be spending 15, 20 minutes doing these when I can instead incorporate a smart exercise in later in the workout. To continue this rant, I guess, the dip, for instance. Let's say you're having a really difficult time keeping the scapulas down, the shoulders down during the bench press. And your shoulders keep riding up. Okay? And because your shoulders are riding up, you're losing position and you might be irritating your shoulder while you're pressing. Okay? Chances are you have a very weak lower trap, your T3. Your trap goes like this up on the neck, then there's a midsection, and then there's a lower portion. Let's see here. Boom. Hopefully you can see that. All right? Your lower trap controls the scapula to help pull it down in position, in a good position there. Now, if you're very weak, you have a very hard time being able to do that and control that, certain movements like an incline dumbbell Y raise to help pull the shoulders down and bring them up, that could be very good. Working on just pec minor dips, so you get on the bar and you pull down like that. You're working not only your pec minor, but also your lower T3. Great movements. But in order to progress those, we want to try to take it to something that we can load a little heavier. So what's another great exercise? I'm benching, my shoulders feeling better. I've been doing my pec minor dips. I've been doing my Y raises. Let's take and incorporate the dip, right? So when I perform my dip, my shoulders are not up here into my ears. I'm pulling my shoulders down and performing the dip with correct technique, and will help control my, it will help strengthen my T3 and control my scaps as I perform the movement. Anyways, continuing on, we got some lat pull downs. After I just ranted about that, these are not the world's best technique lat pull downs, but I needed to get the volume in. And again, this was my last week here, so I wanted to try to finish out and complete the week with the weight, but I got a little sloppy at the end. I will say my shoulders and my lats are looking absolutely yoked. After that, we went on to some heavy tricep push downs. So these are not mere extensions. I'm not focusing on keeping my elbows to the side and extending down like that. I'm focusing on how much weight can I move with a push down variation. So I'm pushing down on it. It's almost like akin to like a JM press, where your elbows are kind of collapsing in and extending out, right? One thing, if I were to critique myself, and it's kind of tough to do with the cable, but I would put my shoulders down a little bit in a better position. But overall, these are pretty good push downs. Focusing on the tricep, my triceps were definitely burning as I was going through the set. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed my little rant there. And again, if you guys are interested in taking your performance to the next level, please reach out, or at least comment down below. Also, some of you guys are saying, hey dude, you're jacked, your videos are great, I can't believe you're not blowing up. You can help with that by sharing these videos. So again, I appreciate it. See you guys in the next.